Folks, we got a great call today. This young man, my God, I didn't even get his topic this morning, came to us from another network marketing company. It was my previous company, as you well know, was done very well. He was a senior vice president in that company compared to the titles and where we're at today. He's out in South Carolina, him and his lovely wife, and started a group called Crew, C-R-E-W. Miss Jones is on the call. She's part of the organization. Mr. Woolley Cribbs and there's several other people who will probably be on the call. Part of his organization. He built a fantastic organization. He understands long term. I go out to South Carolina and we'll burn up tracks of tires just going up and down the highway. We'll put a couple hundred miles a day on. So I just enjoy this young man, way he brings it down and his goals. His goal is to buy his lovely wife a beautiful house and a brand new Porsche for himself. His favorite group is Coldplay. And man, I only tell you some of his other goals he's got. Without further ado, the great, the one and only regional director on the way to regional vice president before the first quarter is out, made a commitment to get it done. The one and only Mr. Curtis Evans.
Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm glad to be with you this morning. We're going to have some fun and we're going to learn a lot. I want everybody to get something to write with, something so you can take a few notes, a sheet of paper and a pencil paper, something to write notes with, so you can remember this. Now, I hope you had a good weekend, and I know you did, because most of you are watching football, which is good. Football is at that time of year, and in the best in all the years, I watched the first Super Bowl. I mean, I'm gonna show you how old I am. It was in '66, I believe. I was in sixth grade, so I'm old. And this weekend was the best football weekend they've ever had. And I don't even like to watch football. Darlene, my wife, she watches it all the time. You couldn't stop. I mean, these were some really good games and the best I've ever seen. So, we're going to talk about football a little bit toward the end of our program. Mr. Jabri Clemens has a video that we're going to watch just for a little bit, kind of give us an analogy of what we're doing. I'd like to congratulate everybody for being here. First of all, I got some numbers for you and a slogan. So the slogan I want you to write down is stick and stay until you get your pay. Stick and stay until you get your pay. And I'll tell you, probably most of life is just showing up. You know, your people, you guys are amazing. You're here. You showed up. Now, I know you're not here every day. I know something comes up, but most of the time you're here. So showing up is 80% of getting through life. Showing up at school, showing up at work, showing up. And Stephen, the other day, he did an excellent job of even showing up, talking about showing up for your kids' baseball practice and basketball practice and football practice and all those things that you want to do. There are other things that you want to show up for, but you can't because you got to what? Work. You put in 8, 9, 10 hours a day. You got 24 hours, you sleep 8. So that's only, we should sleep 8. So that means you got 16 left. And of those 16, you're putting 10 hours, probably closer to 12 hours in at work, getting ready for work, driving to work, doing the 8, 9 hours, coming back, selling in. By the time you sell in, you put in 10, 12 hours. So out of your day, you got 3 or 4 hours left. Now, the question is, what are you going to do with those 3 or 4 hours? The easiest way to build a network marketing business is not just when those hours come in. I'm going to work Tuesday for 2 hours. I'm going to work Thursday for 1 hour, and then I'm going to work Saturday for 4 hours. The best and the easiest way to work network marketing is to work it all the time. It's easier to work it all the time and keep it on a slow pace than it is to work it on a fast pace for an hour and don't touch it again until next week on that hour. Because the people that are looking for you, you might have passed them up. They were looking for you, you never called them because of some reason. You know, you only do it from 5 to 6. You only do it from 7 to 8. So that means you're Al Thomas, who's going to come in under Pat Robertson, who came in under Dave Culver. You never got Dave in the business. Dave never got Pat in the business, and Pat never called Al because you didn't talk to Dave because it wasn't 5 o'clock. That's why you didn't talk to Dave. It wasn't 5 o'clock. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with committing that some set time to your business, but keep it on all the time. If you think of somebody to come out of the blue, you saw somebody that looked like somebody, write the name down, give them a call. Give them a call. Hey, man, I just was thinking about you. How you doing? Doing good, doing good. Hey, listen, are you open to making any extra money around your busy schedule? Yeah, me and my wife were just talking about something. We didn't know what to do. You called Dave. Dave got Pat. I think I got that right. Yeah, Dave got Pat and Pat got Al. And on that leg, Al, I don't know, don't tell me your numbers, but Al got thousands upon thousands of customers in his group. And those are thousands of customers that you're going to get paid on, but you never call Dave. I mean, the truth of the matter is you never called Dave. So, and you didn't call him because, well, what? So we have to get into that mode. And I'm talking about myself. So when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. We got to get into that mode. When these people come up, another thing I learned from Steve Payton last week was the chicken list. We can't have a chicken list. We can't. We ask that one question: are you open to making any money around your busy schedule? Are you open to making any money? I mean, because sometimes you're talking to people and they're not open to making any money. You wasted a bunch of time. They weren't interested in making any money. And then the second question is, do you know anybody that would like to make some money around their busy schedule? And they'll tell you, oh yeah, I know a guy by the name of, Dave, or I know Pat, and Pat knows, and that's how that works. So try to stay in the mode, okay, as much as you can, okay? When it hits you for a reason. Do something with it. Now, the reason a lot of people are having you're here. Now watch, 50% of people that get into business, this is not network marketing, this is any business, 50% 1 year later are out. 50%, half of them are gone. Half of them, okay? And that's why it's easier for people to keep a job. It's easier, right? Okay, 5 years later, 80% of the people that started a business is out. They're gone. They're not in business no more. So when you show them a business, they might say, oh, I couldn't sell donuts. I couldn't sell balloons in school. And they'll bomb off something like that. And then 10 years later, less than 4% are still in the business. So 96% have really talked themselves out of it. Nobody's really heard them. They talk themselves out of the business. So when I say stick and stay until you get your pay, that's what I'm talking about. It's going to be some personal development. Steve gave us that last week. Sam gave us that week. Julian gave us that week. Julian mixes his up. He gives us some personal development, and then he tells you what to do. Okay? So some personal development, and then he gives you pointed things to do. And so we're learning what to do. But the personal development is something as simple as asking that question and not being scared of nobody. He said he was a Bills man. I really got a lot of what he said. He said he's a Bills man. Everybody know him for that. And he laughs if they see him in the mall and they try to duck him. He says, because they think I'm going to talk about ACN. And when I talk to him, I say, hey man, how you doing that? And then he says, guess what? They were right. I talk about ACN. Okay. And so, you say, I don't want to be that guy. You need to be that guy. Okay. You don't want to be that girl. You need to be that girl, because you're going to have to leave some people behind. You have to leave some people behind. Now I want to know, have y'all ever noticed Al didn't have his brother on here? Why isn't Al's brother, I don't know if Al got a brother, but why isn't Al's brother SVP or RVP or RD? Why aren't there a bunch of Thomases in the business? Why aren't there a bunch of Evanses in the business? Why aren't there a bunch of Fosters in the business? Why there aren't a bunch of Coupuses in the business? Why aren't there a bunch of Provenzanos in the business? It's because you're going to have to leave some people behind. You're spending a lot of time trying to convince people, and you're going to show it to them, but you got to leave some people behind. They will stop you cold in the track instead of you becoming more like them. Instead of them becoming more like you, and that's entrepreneurial, they are going to little by little get you to fall right back in line. You're going to fall right back in line. Al talked about it before. He talked about being a eagle, I think, and flying up here with the eagles. I can't remember how you put it. Or are you going to be down there with the chickens? Okay. And you're going to have to do that. Now we say, I don't want to be that person. I'm telling you, you need to be that person, because one day down the road, when you're pulling 10,000 a month, 15,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month. I know we can't talk about numbers, but I want you to believe that you can do that. Okay. When that's a set of skills, and we're learning those now. Sam's talking about it. We want Sam in the bed. So let's help Sam get in the bed, okay? We want him off the floor, okay? But those skills, you're gonna have to learn those skills, and that's what we're all doing. We're all learning those skills. And so as you learn those skills, you're gonna get better and better and better and better. And as Joshua just typed in correctly, so you gotta believe, you gotta know you can do it. It has to be internal. Now I'm gonna show you a video that's gonna kind of stun you a little bit. But all of us have that capability. And I know you do because you're still here. You're still here. You have every reason in the world to say, I don't know if I can do that. Julian's beating me up too bad. Sam giving me a hard time. I can't do what Sam does. I can't do what Al does. You be you, I'll be me, Al be Al. But in your own way, you have to get to the top of the company. Now, we used to call it in our old business a stairway to success. A stairway to success. You start at your first step. Our first step is to what? CQ. Become a CQ. That's a stairway to success. The next step on the stairway, how are you going to get to this top? Now, your next step up is what? ETL. ETL. And then in my judgment, the next step was RD. Well, you might take a few steps down before you get a few steps up because it's a mental game. It's a mental game. You can knock it out. If you had 20 ETLs, you'll be RD. And they're in the right spot. But we went from 20 ETLs to become a RD to what? 3 RCs to be an RD. So we got to pass. So the next step is RC. And you guys know what I'm talking about. And then the next step is RVP. Now RVP, I don't know, 30, you need 100, I think it's 100. You need 100 ETLs to become technically to become a RVP. But now it's only 15 RCs, 15. I mean, we got well more than that as far as our points on our board up here, okay? And so what I want you to do is look and see, what does it take to get to RC? Don't worry about RD right now, RC. Get RC knocked out. If you do, you only need 2 more what? RCs. And look through your group and see who wants to roll. Say, hey man, I like you. Let's do some big things this month. Hey girl, I like you. Let's do some big things this month. Okay, I want to work with you all month long, you and me together. And just stay with them. Now, you tell 2 or 3 people that, and the 2 that want to run, that's who you're going to run with, because people will shake their head up and down like this and won't do jack. You can't find them no more. But you need to find the ones that really want to go, and they really want to become a RC. Why? Because that's a step in them going to RD, and then they get paid really, really well to become a RC. So with that in mind, I want you to go up that ladder, that stairway to success. But remember, in order to go up there, you got to stick and stay until you get your pay. And we have to learn to think more than about our pay. We need to think about the pay of our team, the pay of those 3 or 4 people that got you there. You got to think about the pay of your organization. You want everybody working in your organization to make money. You got to think about your community. The community, what are you going to donate money to? What are you going to help? Who are you going to help in your community? It could be a myriad of things, homeless, it could be whatever. But you can really easily make enough money to take care of you. And that's called a job. You can easily take care of you, and that's a job. You've been doing that before. So now you got to think about something bigger than you, and it keeps you going. It keeps you going. Because when you get to 5,000 a month and you want to go to 10, you say, well, I can make it on 10,000 a month. No, you can't help as many people with 10,000. If somebody in the church gets into a snag, gets into trouble, you want to be able to go to the pastor, put some money in his hand and say, don't tell him where you got this from, but give this to whoever so that they can get out of that mess. You can't do that if you only worry about you. Okay, so there are things that you can do, and so you have to think more than just about yourself. So those are some lessons. So we have to go through the personal development. We have to become a better person, and we have to understand network marketing. And I looked at some numbers. There's 100 million people in network marketing, and 2 years ago, $82 billion was paid out. Network marketing did $182 billion, $200 billion almost. That's a lot of money. That's all the network marketing companies together. So the thing about ours is we're so special because we don't have products. Now, I want you to differentiate between products and what we do. We have services. Okay, I want to differentiate. Now, I want you to understand this part. If someone had a product, all you got to do is go send a box of those products to Amazon, put it on Amazon, and sell them that way. They can sell anything. If I had Mary Kay, I can send it to Amazon. Amazon trying to sell my stuff. So people can get anything, any of these products that anybody's selling off Amazon. But without services, they can't do it. They cannot do it. And they can never pay them out. They can't pay them out. So we have a special company. We have a special comp plan. We have a special system called the Zoom system here. And now we got to take advantage of it. But I need you to go to the Super Bowl. And I need you to be the Super Bowl of ACN. That means let's get to RVP. I mean, our goal should be RVP, okay? And we can do that. And to get there, we need to be RD. To get there, we need to be a RC. And RC is gettable now, okay? Does everybody understand that? Now, you starting off way down the road, you are so far down the road from a new person that came in that don't know nothing. You're the leaders of ACN. You're the leaders of your group, okay? And what I'm going to do is show you a video of a young man that they didn't pay a whole lot of attention to. They didn't think this guy was going to make it. The only person that knew this guy was going to make it was him. And you need to be the person that know you're going to make it, in spite of what your family says. There aren't any evidences in the business, the same as there are some, but I mean, you know, they're not doing much. What I'm telling you, you need to know what's deep inside of you that can make you stick and stay until you get your pay. So I'm gonna show you this video. You're well familiar with this character, but I want you to think about yourself when you watch this. Don't say, oh, I know that. I want you to think about yourself and think if you can do what he did. And in network marketing, you can. You can't physically go out there and do what he did, but in network marketing, you can. So if Jabri, if you could play it and start it there, and we'll get going.
First 5 games, but against Michigan State, the Wolverines got in a 17-point hole with Henson, and Brady was asked to dig them out of it.
Pump fake going to the corner. Terrell is open. Touchdown, Michigan.
Brady threw for 241 yards in the final 18 minutes and nearly brought Michigan back. After a 307-yard performance the following week, the quarterback competition was over.
Brady really separated himself the way he played. And that's when I decided Brady was going to be the quarterback and Drew was going to be the backup.
Against Penn State, Michigan trailed by 10 in the final minutes.
Miller's open, reaches for the touchdown, Michigan.
And the legend of the comeback kid was born.
Throws it, get it, touchdown, Tom Brady leads the Wolverines back.
There's no greater leader in intercollegiate athletics than Tom Brady. He's handled as difficult a coaching decision this year in a way that only enhanced his stature among his teammates and all those people who love Michigan.
Brady's finest collegiate performance was still to come, the Orange Bowl.
It's the last time I'd take the field as a Wolverine. We got down in the game 14-0 and came back and tied it 14-14. We got down 28-14 in the second half, came back and made it 28-28. We went to overtime and I ran a bootleg and threw it to Sean Thompson.
Sets up, fires across the middle, his tight end's got it, Sean Thompson, touchdown!
They scored to make it 35-34, and they kicked the extra point and missed the extra point. We won in overtime.
Make no mistake, Tom Brady carried us through that game.
The Alabama game, in my experience at Michigan, is as fine a performance at quarterback as anybody ever had.
We kidded you about being the comeback kid. Wow. You didn't want to have to wait till the fourth quarter to bring the team back, but you did a tremendous job.
What better way to go as a fifth-year senior as an Orange Bowl victory?
You would think Brady's achievements at Michigan would have won the admiration of pro teams looking for a quarterback in the upcoming draft. But it didn't happen that way. Brady's struggle for recognition continued.
I only had one call from the NFL. Bobby Greer, who was with the Patriots at the time, talked about they were going to draft a quarterback late. I just said, Bobby, I guarantee you, you will never regret drafting Tom Brady.
This is the draft report on you. Basically, it goes poor build, skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength,
lacks mobility and ability to avoid the rush, lacks a really strong arm, can't drive the ball downfield, does not throw a really tight spiral.
System-type player who can get exposed if forced to add lift.
And gets knocked down easily.
That kind of gets me fired up because I'm thinking, what the hell do these people know? I mean, that sounds like Joe Montana right there.
Joe Montana. As a kid who grew up 20 minutes from Candlestick Park, that's exactly who Tom Brady wanted to be.
We used to be dyed-in-the-wool 49er fans. We loved Joe Montana, the best ever.
When I was 4 years old, my dad took me to one of the games. It was the NFC Championship game when Dallas played the Niners at home.
And he throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown!
We were sitting in the end zone when Dwight Clark made the catch.
In the 2000 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers were one of the teams looking for a quarterback.
We knew all about Tom. Tom was from Sarah High School, right up the street here. At the combine, when you watched Tom, you saw this tall, gangly-looking kid. Looked like haven't ever seen a weight room. Ran a 5.2 something. One of the slowest quarterbacks in the combine. Does he wow you throwing the ball? Mm-mm. There were some other guys that could shoot it, and he had just an okay arm. Did his coaches at Michigan really stand on the table and say, this is the greatest thing since Joe Montana? No, not even close. They had to decide if it was he or Drew Henson. We even had a local combine in San Francisco where the kids from the local colleges or the local high schools can come by and have a workout. And Tom was there, and Bill was there. We were all there. And Tom, to be quite honest, did nothing that would say, hey, we need to draft this guy.
His 40 time and that vertical jump, in 32 years of doing this, we talked about 576 quarterbacks. He was number 576.
It's not really what my skill set is, but fortunately for me, that's not what quarterbacking's about either.
If you're going to go somewhere and learn a little bit about quarterbacking, you might as well go the Bill Walsh School of Quarterbacking, of which Steve Mariucci is a pretty good offensive coach in his own right. Giovanni Carmazzi, quarterback of the Flying Dutchman of Hofstra, and he's the second quarterback pick.
We had season tickets for the 49ers for 25 years, and we were just hurt. It just, we kind of took it personally, if you will.
Giovanni Carmazzi, the quarterback who was ranked second on your board behind Chad Pennington. Tell me where he fits in this current quarterback situation.
Well, he was probably the best quarterback in the draft as far as athletic ability. This is a fine athlete with a real future. We were sweating it out about the last 10 picks that somebody would take him. Then we heard later that others were just about to take him when we did. So that was one of our better choices.
We're in the draft room. It was the 5th round. We already had 3 quarterbacks at the time. We had just signed our number 1 quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, for a lot of money.
How much time's left on the clock? 9 minutes and 18 seconds.
I remember Belichick walking up to the board and said, wow, this Brady's still on the board.
One of the real troubling parts was the Michigan situation, the fact that really they were trying to replace him as their starting quarterback and say, okay, they don't really want this guy as their starting quarterback. They want another guy. Well, what's the problem here? It's a little bit of a red flag there.
The Patriots' first 5 picks were number 70, tackle Adrian Clem, who started just 10 games for them in 5 seasons. Running back J.R. Redmond, who finished his career with less than 700 rushing yards. Tackle Greg Robinson Randall, who lasted just 3 seasons with the team. Tight end Dave Stachelski and defensive lineman Jeff Marriott. Both never made the roster. And with the 199th overall pick, they selected a skinny quarterback from Michigan named Tom Brady.
There's nothing we could really do about the whole Henson situation. We just had to evaluate what we saw, and we saw Tom time and again his senior year start the game off well, and then so many times Tom would come back in and rescue the situation and pull out the win for Michigan against great competition, the biggest game. He just took his opportunities and tried to make the most out of them.
Brady made his share of rookie mistakes.
I can't stand it. Run it again. Huddle up and run it again, Brady.
But he possessed a veteran's confidence.
This skinny beanpole of a young man walked over to me and said, hi, Mr. Kraft, I want to introduce myself. I'm Tom Brady. I said, I know who you are. You're our 6th-round draft choice. And I always remember he looked me like a laser, eye to eye, and he said, that's right, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made.
I remember calling my agent and I said, I think I want to buy a house. This is 2 weeks into training camp. And he's like, are you nuts? Why don't you make the team first? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make the team. Don't worry about that. Like, let's just make sure we get a good interest rate.
Back. All right, now push, 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 back. Now this way, angle, push, push, push.
That's it. That's it, Jabri. All right, so if everybody's there. So now when I say, I want you to see yourself in that. You know, there'll be people out there that discount you, and I'm talking about your family. I'm talking about your friends. They'll discount you. You may be the last pick for whatever because they don't see you that way. When you call them about a business, they might not see you like that, okay? But he looked into that guy's eyes and he said, this is the best decision your team is going to make. And he stayed with the Patriots. And guess what happened? I don't know how many, I don't know how many Super Bowls, left and went to another team, Super Bowl the first year. Now, but we don't know about that skinny, got seven, seven, thank you, Sam. We don't know this skinny little kid that could not get on the team, and wanted to play for the team up the street from him, but they didn't want him. I mean, those are the stories of legends. And in order to get to where Al is, and I don't want to tell Al's story, I will tell it to you one day. But Al, I want Al for a minute. I want you to think about the house you were raised in. The house you were raised in. And when you go through that house, Al, I want you to think about the bedroom that you slept in, you and your brother growing up, okay? And I want to think about where you are now through network marketing. So I want everybody to think about that. I want you to think about where you came from. And it's highly improbable that you can get to the top of anything, but you can in network marketing. In network marketing, that's the one place that you can get ahead, but you got to see yourself as what? RVP, SVP, and all you know is the school you're going to is the school of RC. The school you're going to, the college that you're going to is the College of RC. Okay, the University of RD. That's the next one. And then you're going to the pros. You're going to the pros. That's the pro team called RVP. And if you can see yourself going through all those challenges and having people laugh at you and talk about you, and just go through it, because somebody might know Stephen Payton. Somebody that you know knows somebody that knows Michael Mazer. Somebody that you know knows somebody that knows Julian Lewis. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how you know. You may not ever sign those guys up. You may not ever sign them up personally. You, Victoria Hardy, may not sign them up personally, but you know how to taproot until that person shows up in your organization. Because you don't make leaders, you find leaders. Am I right, Julian? You do not make leaders, you find leaders. And that's our goal, our job. Your job is to find leaders. They're already down the road. They want to do something big. They don't know what to do. So that takes care of what I have for today. And to tell you what I'm talking about today, stick and stay until you get your pay. Thank you very much. Al, it's all yours.